Good afternoon, everyone. I'm so excited to be back at work this week after having all of this inclement weather and just being home. I do not do well with downtime. Let me just tell you, I'd rather be at work any day. But during my downtime, I was able to kind of catch up on messages, talk to a few people, and several questions came across my desk that kind of raised an eyebrow for me because some of those things I am dealing with myself at this current moment. The questions were concerning these three topics. We have weather, when you're closed for inclement weather. We have when you're closed for your personal days within your home or preschool programs. And then we have the question concerning tuition with them both. And let me just first say that a lot of these problems can definitely be avoided if you only took the time to write out an orientation for your program that you go through with your parents prior to enrolling their students. Now, I do an orientation. I've been doing it since the day that I opened my doors, and I'm going to tell you why. The number one and only reason why I do orientation is because when I first started and I was handing out the handbooks, and I was so disappointed that I had put so much work into my handbook, pictures and notations and different things, only to find it crumbled up and thrown in my driveway. Parents aren't reading the handbooks. We know they're not going to read them. So why wouldn't you take the time to make your program better by instituting an orientation with the most important parts of your handbook or things that are very nitpicky to you? And that way, when you start off on the right foot, you're sure to end on the right foot. Now, that's not to say that I haven't had any problems with parents over the years, even though I do have the orientation and stick closely to my policies and procedures. Because I can tell you one thing that I've always had a problem with, and that's been my 9 o'clock shutoff time, and I'm sure you've had the same problem. But my policy states that if you arrive at my door at 9:01, you are late and the child is not permitted to stay for the day. Now, they'll say, oh, but my clock said this or your clock said that. Well, here's the trick. Cell phones are universal. They're going to have the same time. Look at your cell phone. If it says after 9, don't come. Now, I've had people to get mad at me. I've been called names. I've been turned into DHS. I have had people pull their children from the program. Well, let me tell you about those ones that pull their children from the program because you have a 9 o'clock cutoff. Majority of the facilities around have a 9 o'clock cutoff time, and those that don't provide enough attitude and information and opportunity for the parents to see that they'd rather be at a program that had a little bit more structure about it. So those that did leave me due to the 9 o'clock cutoff time quickly returned once they saw the benefits of having a cutoff time. So that's just one thing. But if you're sticking to your orientation, your policies, your procedures, and you're keeping your lines of communication open with your parents, a lot of the problems that I'm hearing about will just fade away. They're not problems. You have to talk to your parents. Now, I'm going to break it down and I'm going to go each three, but you will see within that, they'll all bleed in together. My policy for school closing, I give a list to my parents that I go over yet again during my orientation. I will tell them what days were closed for the year so that they have an idea so they can have it in their notes. Another thing I do for the school closing days is I have my parents in a group text. Once I add a new parent, I always repost the school close days to make sure that the new parent has it and the old parents have a reminder. Okay, that is how I do my school closing. I do it every year in January. If I'm going somewhere, if I need a day off, a close or whatever, it's already in my list. If there are days that I close or leave early or come late on any other time, those are at the discretion of me and my parents, and we talk about it, guys. We communicate about it. I talk to them, and we come together with a plan, and we stick to it. Now, that's all I'm going to say about school closing, because we have the days that we are closed, and when you do your orientation and you tell them those days, if they don't agree to those days, they should not leave their child in your program, or they should already have someone set up to watch those children during those times because they know that you are closed. That's school closing. Now, on inclement weather, I live in the state of Tennessee, and I'm in Shelby County school districts. I am closed when the school district is closed. If they close early, I'm closed early. If they are going to have a delayed start, I'm going to have a delayed start. If they are just outright closed, I'm closed. And let me tell you how this helps me. I am not the one to sit and call every single family because I had to get up early and watch the news to see if we were going to be closed because school was closed. No. If my policy states, and I go over it in orientation, that the Shelby County school districts are closed for inclement weather, delayed for inclement weather, or getting out early for inclement weather, so is Kinder College. I am not going to call a single parent. They're watching the news. They know what's going on. That's not my job. Get on the news, watch the news. If the Shelby County schools are closed, we're closed. And it's that simple, okay? It's gone over in orientation. There is a great understanding between myself and the parents. They know what it is. They ask their questions. They alleviate their concerns at that time. Okay, let's pull both of these in and let's talk about tuition. My tuition policy is tuition is due on Mondays, okay? You can pay that Monday morning or you can pay Monday at pickup. Okay, now this is why. If I have them to pay on Friday, a lot of parents, they don't forget or they don't bring it. Some of my parents don't get paid until Mondays, and I'm understanding to that. So if I do it on Friday, a lot of them couldn't do it. You know, they were getting paid on Monday. I said, okay, fine. We'll do it on Monday because Monday is the start of that week, and there's no reason for me to have to get it on Friday. But the way that I have it set up is if they do come on Monday and they did not pay it that morning, they have to pay it that afternoon when they pick up. If they do not pay it when at pickup, my late fee is $50. So when you come in on Tuesday to bring your child for drop-off, I am my own opener and you will see me. Okay, that's number one. So when you come in, I've checked my tuition box. I know who's paid, who hasn't paid. And if they haven't paid, then now they owe me the tuition plus the $50 or the child is not permitted to stay for that day. And I will turn them around at the door and send them on their way. It is something we go over in orientation. I'm going to keep saying orientation, guys. If you've already talked about it, they know your policy and they know that you're going to stick to your policies because the first thing that you can do to mess up things is allow it. I tell everyone and anyone, what you allow will continue. If you don't allow it, it won't continue. So I do not let them stay, even if they just owe me $1. I'm probably worse than MLG crooks, okay? I am not going to go for it. And they know this. However, there are extenuating circumstances when we are caring for other people's children and we're running our own businesses because here's the thing, guys, think about it. We are supposed to be here, and I say supposed to because some of us forget that because we're just on our own soapbox. We are supposed to be here to assist the mothers with their children so that they are able to do the things that they're doing. It is not very much assistance if we are not thinking about their well-being as well as ours, okay? With that being said, I'm going through the same thing that a lot of you are. I have the same closed days, I have the same type of parents, and I care for their children. So when I already knew that when I'm closed for inclement weather, and schools are closed for inclement weather, there are some parents who did not work because their businesses or their jobs are closed for inclement weather. There should be a big light bulb going off in your head right now saying, they're not working, they're not getting paid. And if they're not getting paid, how are you going to get paid? So with that in mind, you need to be mindful and considerate, guys. If you are doing everything you're supposed to be doing within your program, you're sticking to your policies and procedures, you're keeping your lines of open communication between you and your parents, this is not an issue, okay? Matter of fact, I have a prime example. I'm not going to name any names. I have a mother who is one of my parents here, and she actually missed we were out for 2 weeks. Last week, we didn't come in until Thursday, and the week before that, we were closed that Friday, okay? So they missed Friday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and some of them couldn't even still get out of their driveways and things to get to school on last week. So I had some parents that hadn't been there for 2 weeks, okay? My policy is you pay whether your child is here or not, and I mean that. And if you don't, the same thing applies. When you come back to school after missing 2 weeks, you owe 2 weeks plus the week that you came back on, okay? And that means that you need to have your payment on Monday. There is no waiting until Tuesday because you're already in the rear. Okay, are you guys understanding what I'm saying? They missed 2 weeks. Okay, they're 2 weeks in the rear. This is the third week. They're coming back to care. It's a Monday. They have a balance of $200. That means that not Tuesday, but Monday, when you hit the door and you see me on Monday, you will need to pay your tuition for those 3 weeks, the 2 you missed and the current one, or the child is not permitted to stay. My parents know this. Why? Because we did an orientation and we talked about it. They know this. So therefore, it's not a problem. But here's something else that I did for the parents while sitting with nothing else to do. If you're concerned about getting your payments, they can't get out on the roads. I had several parents asking me for weeks now to down or upload this app called the Cash App. Now I have PayPal, but some of them don't do PayPal. Cash App actually is a good app. I've only been doing it for a week now. This is my second week on it, but let me tell you what happened. Like I said, we closed that Friday. Okay, everybody had already paid for that week. Last week, we were closed Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we didn't reopen until Thursday. So on Thursday, sometime during the break, I did the Cash App. On Thursday, when I made it back to care and I noticed that I only had the 2 students, I went on my group text and I texted all the parents and said, hey guys, I had several parents asking about the Cash App. I have now uploaded it. I'm sending a link if you would like to use it at this time to pay for your child's tuition for this week. Okay, there's some of them that couldn't get out on the road. So if you're concerned about getting your tuition and they're not coming in, provide an opportunity, provide something or a way for them to be able to get that to you without being unsafe on traveling roads. Because if it's unsafe for them to bring their child to you for care, it should be unsafe for them to bring your tuition, correct? Okay, sometimes I don't think we think, and it irritates me because we got to talk to our parents. I meet so many programs where they say they're having problems with the parents won't bring this, the parents won't do that. They can't get the parents to do this with the children, and it's all about how you talk to them. It's all about how you treat them. It's all about how you have your program set up. If the parents are as acceptive of your program and they're in your program, there is something that you are doing that they like. If you are building on that and you're always there making sure that you're doing what you said you're going to do, it's so much easier for them to feel more comfortable and more happy. You know, God loves a cheerful giver. They don't want to give their money if you're not doing what you're supposed to do, for sure. So keep your programs up. Treat your business like a business. Don't be lax-a-day. It's a snow day. You didn't work. You're not going to have that many kids. That doesn't mean that when people come, you answer the door in your PJs. You still got sleep in your eyes and your house slippers on. No, it's still a business. How you treat your business is how your parents are going to treat your business. If you treat it like a business, they'll treat it like a business. If you're in a home child care situation and you treat it like a home, they're going to treat it like a home. So be careful that you are giving what you want to receive, or you're not going to see your blessings, okay? Now, I want to just brag on one of my parents now, because this is a perfect opportunity to bring this up, because like I was saying, I had a parent who missed the 2 weeks. And when I checked my box on yesterday, I believe it was, today's Wednesday, yesterday, because I was a day late checking my box. Okay, so yesterday I checked my box and I got all my envelopes out for tuition, and on the front of one of my envelopes, it stated, it had the child's name, and it said, tuition for last week, this week, and the next 2 weeks. So she dropped a total of $400 in my lap to make sure that she is on par with her tuition. My question that I'm presenting to you is, had I not gone over my orientation and she didn't know the policies and procedures and she was not approving of my program, do you think she would have been that willing to leave her tuition? So if you are having a problem with getting your tuition, if you are having a problem with your parents not understanding your inclement weather policy or your school closed days, I'm going to ask you to check yourself first, okay? Now, with that being said, I don't want to be too blunt, too bold, or too rude, but that's just my take on it, and I would love to hear yours. Have a blessed day.